when we out here, our mission is that we, the so-called, like our brother was saying, the so-called blacks and Hispanics, we actually come from the nation of Israel. Those titles that we got, what do you think when we got them? We got them when we was in slavery, when we got conquered. They said, you know what? You African American, you Haitian, you Dominican, you Panamanian, which don't mean nothing, right? I want to give you something. Give me Leviticus 26:17. My brother was bringing out. You see everything that's going on to us, everything that's going on with our celebrities that was bringing out, all that. Why you think that's happening to us? Y'all believe in God?
Yeah.
Why you think? Because in Christianity they say God is all loving, hugs and kisses, right? So if God is all about love, why is all these atrocity happening to us?
Bring it out.
Why you think?
Doing bad ourselves.
All right, what about you? Because we go to church for years, our families, and they be like, oh, and it's playing instruments, God is about love. And you go up in there, they play good music, you feel good, and you come out, you still got problems. We're still at the bottom, we're still getting killed. I'm gonna read something, watch this.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 26, verse 17. And I will set my face against you.
So God is saying, since you disobey me, like you said, we ain't doing the right thing. We're not obeying God. So I'm gonna set my face against you.
And ye shall be slain before your enemies.
Everybody outside, believe it or not, everybody outside of our nation, God calls them our enemies. Read that part again.
And ye shall be slain, killed, before your enemies. They that hate you,
They that hate us, all nations hate us,
shall reign over you.
That's why every nation is on top of us. No matter where we go, we at the bottom.
Right.
Every nation, the Chinese, the Japanese, the Arabs, the East Indians, the white man, everybody has a level, and where we find ourselves at the bottom. Why? Because God's put us there. Because as kids, we disobedient. Are we not disobedient? We know when we do what we do, you know we ain't right. So what you think? You think, let me get that Deuteronomy 28. Or is it, what's that? When it says Deuteronomy 11:22 or 11:20? Because all this right here, at the end of the day, what we're showing, all this causes, everything that's going on, it's a punishment. And to get out of the punishment is to start obeying. That's all it is. At the end of the day, it's very simple. Obey God so he can get us out of the situation so he can flip it. So we can stop being in the bottom, we can actually start being on top. Is that it? What I want?
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 11, verse 22. For thou shalt diligently all these commandments which I command you, to do them, to love the Lord your God, to walk in all his ways, and to cleave unto him. Then will the Lord drive out all these nations from before you, and shall possess greater nations and mightier than yourselves.
He said you're going to possess. When they took us over, right? They conquered us. What kind of class, what level was we when they conquered us? Was we ruling? We wasn't ruling. You know about the Moors in Europe? You know about the Moors, right? We was a ruling class. Oh, but then when you hear about in Spain, originally it wasn't the white folks ruling there. All that was so-called black folks, those were Israelites.
Right.
We was ruling at one time. But God, because you disobey me, guess what? Okay, I'm gonna jack you up, right? So what do you think we got to get out of there? What do you think we got to do?
We should obey God.
Let me ask you a question. I'm gonna keep it simple. You know about the 10 Commandments? What you know about them? Yeah. Okay. What you know about the 10 Commandments? Okay, so what you know? Huh? Nah, ain't no 10 Commandments. What you know, my brother? You're a little older. I expect you to know something.
Well, it just tells us what we can and cannot do.
Okay, so what's one of the things you cannot do?
So you can't steal.
That's one. That's one. I'm gonna keep it basic. You know what? I wanted to switch to that right there because I want to keep it basic, right?
Yeah.
Let's give me the first commandment because it's gonna lead to something. I'm gonna keep it real basic. At the end of the day, we could go through a whole bunch of speech, but it don't mean nothing if I don't start actually giving you solutions. Give me the first commandment.
Book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 3. Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Y'all heard about that, right? God said don't have no other gods before me. Do we keep that law? We don't keep that law. This guy right here. Who's this guy?
Bring it out.
Who's that supposed to be? Huh? That's supposed to be Jesus, right?
Yeah.
But guess what? You ain't gonna find that in the Bible. And the reason we like to always bring this out, because with another Jesus, another doctrine. Because old boy right here, he say he love everybody. Is that in the Bible? Does God love everybody? Does he? What you say? Matthew 15:24. We're gonna see. We're gonna see if the doctrine of Christ, and we're gonna show you what he looked like, just to make sure. 15:24.
Book of Matthew, chapter 15, verse 24. But he answered and said, I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
So you imagine, somebody came to Christ and said, yo, listen, when you read up, another lady from another nation, Christ helped me. He said, yo, I wasn't sent for you. I was sent only for the nation of Israel.
That's right.
So where they getting that in the Christian church saying that Christ is for everybody? When he said, I'm not sent for every nation. I'm only sent for one nation, which is us. The so-called blacks and Hispanic. We're the Israelites. We're the one that went through all the curses. We're the one that be disobedient. So you see what I'm saying? That's why it's so important. He said to know what God you serving, because if you're serving the wrong God, you don't know what he requires of you. Because this one is saying, I only came from one particular person, or a nation, I should say. So what do you think you got to do if you love him to serve Christ? What do you think you got to do then?
Bow down.
Bow down and what?
Obey him.
Obey him. This is true. Let me get that. Matthew 15:20. John 14:15. Excuse me.
Book of John, chapter 14, verse 15. If you love me,
So Christ is saying, if you love me, because his love ain't unconditional. It's condition behind it, right? He said, no, if you love me,
keep my commandments.
keep my commandments. What do you think are some of the commandments Christ, the black Messiah, wants you to keep? Huh? That's true. Don't kill, no lie. Let me get some of the commandments. Let me get the fringes. Matter of fact, I want to bring something. Who's married here? You married? Okay. Y'all married? Y'all got girlfriends? The marriage in the black community, the so-called black community, Hispanic, is that something uplifted or is that something frowned upon? Frowned upon. Why?
Why we didn't see it like black on black today?
And we gotta realize why. Because you know, when you look back, when you start doing your little studies from the 60s and back, you start seeing the so-called, the black woman and the black man used to be like this. So while you get in your back beat, she right there defending you. Now right now you get your back beat, she turning your back on you.
Right.
You gotta realize what's going on. One of the reasons how to fix that is what? These what we call boyfriend and girlfriend. That's actually a problem. That's actually a problem. Because guess what? You play house, there's no responsibility back there. Sleeping around, you sleeping around, she's sleeping around, guess what? Now we got broken marriage. Now she don't trust you, you don't trust the black woman, that's why we got what we got. Give me Hebrews. So I wanted to start there, I wanted to hit that point, and guess what? If we want to start fixing our community, one of the things is what? Start loving each other. And what? Actually marry our women. Don't just play house like, yo, I'm gonna sleep with you, and then when I'm bored, you know what? We get to an argument, you go that way, I go that way, I find me another one. That's why that circle of problems continue in us, because nobody want to be a man and actually marry a woman like my man did right here. That actually takes being a man to actually stay there and fix it, hearing that black mouth, and be like, oh, we're gonna fix this, and actually humble her down according to the Bible. That takes a man. Or boy, just go to somebody else.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 13, verse 4. Marriage is honorable in all.
So marriage, that's actually something beautiful. From Adam and Eve, when God made Adam and he gave him Eve, he didn't say, yo, check her out, and if you feeling her, if you ain't feeling her, I'll give you somebody else. That wasn't with it. He said, this is your wife, and they got married. That's the institution of marriage since from the beginning.
Marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled.
Because whatever you do between a husband and a wife, that's between y'all.
But whoremongers,
you know what a whoremonger is? What's that? A whoremonger.
Homeowner.
Yes, sir.
Side piece.
What's up?
Sneakily.
Sleeping around. A whoremonger and a brother or sister that like to sleep around.
And adulterers,
Anybody sleeping outside of marriage.
God will judge.
I'm gonna ask my brothers right here. How do you think God judges us when we don't marry our sisters and we just go like to sleep around? And the sisters do the same thing because it's both of us. How do you think God judges us as a nation? You got plenty of examples. Why do you think? You don't know? What about you, my brother? What do you think are some of the problems when we don't marry and we just sleeping around and we commit an adultery? What comes out of that? Huh? Yeah, but okay, give me examples. So let's say this. Let's start with this. When a man is sleeping around, what comes out of that? Do that bring unity between our nations, between the man and the woman? Or that break trust? That break trust. What comes out of that also? Single parent household, right? Because a lot of our men will play it, she get pregnant, are you gonna get rid of it? You gonna keep it? I ain't got time for that. I'm too young for that. I ain't got time for kids. Next thing you know, because a lot of us grew up by single mother household, right? A lot of us did. And guess what? Is it easy for a single woman to raise up a man? We need both. Diseases. We get judged by diseases. A lot of these things, guess what? Could get fixed if we just apply this law. Marry a woman. Take your time, see if she's good for you, and marry her. Listen, what's between their legs is the same. It's just a different face. It's no change. Am I right? You can say whatever you want. It's the same thing. Read it again.
Marriage is honorable in all, in the bed undefiled. But whoremongers and adulterers, God will judge.
That's how he judges us. That's why next thing you know, man, I'm burning. You got the sister got blue waffle. Single parent household, committing adultery. Next thing you know, it's murder. Just off the straight because you can't control your mans. These are things that, guess what? It seems simple to us, but we don't apply it. That's why I say, if you love your sister, you love your nation, you don't whore out your sisters. Simple. It's simple. This is what? They ain't teaching this in the churches. They say, give me your tithes. That's not how it works. Love each other, guess what? You don't do those type of things to each other. Another thing that people like to do is what? When we are people that live in stress, in hard condition, what do we like to do to get out of this condition? To cope with it. What's some of the things we do? Smoke weed, drugs, drink, right? Those type of things, when we do it, the problem is still there. It don't go nowhere. So what do you think God feels about that? That the greatest people, before I go there, let me get Corinthians, but give me 7 and 6. The greatest people, because believe it or not, it's hard for us to fathom. I'm going to read it right now. Even though we look like nothing, especially to the other nation, we don't look like nothing to them. God actually says we are greater than every nation in the planet. Read this real quick.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7, verse 6. But thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God.
Holy means separate.
The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself.
So you imagine that. God himself said, you know what, I'm going to take this group and you're going to be special to me.
Above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
Again, if we all equal, why is he saying, I chose you to be above all other nations? So when somebody, God himself picks you out to be special, he wants you to be what? Act and live a certain way. So when we do these things of defiling ourselves, which what? Drinking, there's no sin in drinking, but we get drunk, that's a sin. Smoking, that's actually sin. When we destroy this body, which God gave us, those are sins. The only way we're going to fix our problem is what? Find out the solution and apply it. Don't run away from it. Y'all understand that?
Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today. Shalom.
by example. Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is children with role models.